Hey everybody, welcome to Friday. It's almost the end of September already. Can you believe that? Crazy. Hi, I'm Elaine Marolakos Edelson, and I'm with Astrology Mojo, and we're going to be talking about Mars entering the sign of Aquarius today. What I'd like to do first is just go over a couple things. If you're new to hearing me and you want to actually hear me, you got to raise your volume. And yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. Just raise the volume, bump up the jam. Okay, we're talking about Mars in the sign of Aquarius today, which entered on September 11th, that fated day in history. But now it's all about renewal. It's all about finding that new place where to put your innovative ideas. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so I'm going to talk about each sign and rising sign with Mars and Aquarius, but first, a couple of definitions so that you can be refreshed if you've been listening to my Facebook Lives. Fantastic, thank you. And if you've not, just a little refresher course that the planets don't make you do anything. No. We live in a cooperation with our cosmos. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, it's reflected in the heavens. That's why not every single Virgo or Taurus or Cancer is doing the same thing on the same day at the same time, because we are not puppets. We are in a communal experience. We work together with our cosmos. So Mars, let me just get a picture of Mars up for you. There it is, Mars, the red planet. And also there's the symbol of Mars, which is more about the masculine, fiery energy. Mars represents anger and aggression, weaponry, automobiles. Hi, Deanne. Thank you. Oh, you're a Sag. Okay, we're going to get to that. Mars also represents warfare, sexuality, sensuality, action, aggression, sometimes passive aggressiveness, depending on the other indications in a person's chart or what sign Mars is in. And Mars has a lot to do, because Mars is a fiery energy. It guides the sign of Aries. And it being in the sign of Aquarius, which is now from September 11th through November 15th, that Mars is going to take on a different kind of persona. Imagine that the planets are at a costume party, and every time they enter a different constellation, they dress up a little differently and take on a different aura. And so in the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius represents eclectic energy, music, astrology, the currents of change. And the currents, And the currents is what you see being poured out of the symbol and the sign for Aquarius. It used to be called the water bearer, but hi Audra, welcome. Hi Sasha, hola. Mars has gone aloof. Okay, yes, we're going to talk about that on the stage of the world as well. But Aquarius used to be known as the water bearer, but that was in a time and an age when that was the main source of energy. Now, Aquarius represents the currents of change. Okay, so just picture, and again, I was so busy getting all my other things together, I forgot to get a picture of Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius. I just want to burst into song right now. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars. Okay, basically, whoopsie, backwards. Okay, no, backwards. I'll get it one day. There's Aquarius. And Aquarius represents the currents of change. And what are those currents? Electricity, water, and air. Okay? That's what we're working with right now until some new age developer or scientist discovers another form of currency. And yeah, Bitcoin. Right. Bitcoin. Oh, you're an Aquarian. Cool. Well, then you're going to love hearing about today and Mars and Aquarius. So with Mars, fiery energy action, let's get it going inside of Aquarius, which is very eclectic. It can be rebellious, anarchy, shaking things up. And remember the currents, wind, water, electricity. Where are we having in the world, just look at the world today. Where Massachusetts, we're sending love and energy out to Massachusetts. There were explosions, fire and smoke, and Mars represents the fiery temper. Mars also represents inflammation in the body, fevers, acne, things that just erupt, anger as well, right? Or impulses. Now, we put that together with Aquarius, and then we've got the Southeast going through something. We're sending love and energy to the Southeast of the United States as well, and everywhere in the world where there is things that are happening that we don't hear about, things that are happening to people all the time, trauma, trafficking, explosions. Let's just put some love into the world right now. I have all my crystals around me, and I don't have the main. Where's my main one? Oh, it must be in the other room. I did an event the other day and I took it with me. It's a generator crystal, and I usually do a meditation into my generator crystal. It's about this big. It's huge. And it literally puts energy into the world, and I surround the world with love. Let's do that right now, shall we? All right, with Mars and Aquarius, it can be a happy thing. Now, first of all, if you are an Aquarius or an Aquarius rising sign, okay, you've heard the phrase burning the candle at both ends. Well, now you're going to be just melting the wax completely in the middle, on the ends, everything. So we want to take it easy. And I even told my daughter this morning, Aaliyah, she's an Aquarius rising sign, please pace it. Because Aquarius rising sign, right now you have the impetus to move. Here's the action. And again, it's not the planet doing it to you, it's your timing. Your timing is saying, I want to get something done. I'm ready to get something done. Or if you've been overdoing, now is when your body says, that's it, I've had enough. How about this 103 temperature fever to keep you in bed, just to get your body some rest? We don't want to go there. We don't need to have eruptions or explosions of temper, or forgetting that, you're scrambling so much to get things done with your agenda that you forget that you're cooking something and then kaboom. No, we don't need that. Let's be mindful. Let's be aware. Let's be present. Aquarius rising sign, I would like you to take a moment before you begin something new, before you have the urge to act, before you step on the gas, before you, cross the street. Breathe. Let's just breathe. Because as you breathe, you're going to be able to get centered and focus and harness that energy like a wave and a current that is the Aquarius symbol. Okay, now for everyone, we're all going to be feeling this. And I'm just going to move my mic because I keep bumping into it. What is that? Okay, so when Aquarius, and again, I'm going to say this a million times. I'll say it to everyone who's been my client for 30 years. The planets don't make you do anything. But as we evolve as people and individuals and in relationships to one another or to the earth or with our political system, I mean, look at the chaos happening there. Okay. Whenever a planet moves into a constellation, as in September 6th, Saturn in Capricorn went direct in motion from retrograde. On September 11th, Mars went into the sign of Aquarius and will be there until November 15th. So, yes, Audra, got to stop being hasty, especially now, because this is when accidents can happen that can be avoided. So, but when a planet enters a different constellation within that week, that time frame, a couple of days before, day of, a few days after, we feel a shift in energy. So we see in the world explosions. We see massive currents of change, wind, weather, water. We see things moving in an eruptive state. Is that a word, eruptive? I don't know. It is now. Okay. Hey, my husband's here. Hi, Dean. Thank you. So when there is a transition, you want to be aware of when, and I will do my best to be here for you to help you get your mojo back so that whenever a planet moves into the next sign, that you get a heads up and you're aware of what's happening and what can happen and the potential, and not just, random things happening to you because you're a puppet and you're a victim. No, you're very powerful. So if you take this energy and you say, oh, if you have a blank canvas in front of you and you're given a few colors, blue, red, and green, and you say, oh, okay, I'm just going to start making an image or start painting. And then someone hands you mahogany, purple, fuchsia, lavender, all different colors. You can say, oh, now I can really expand my palette. So astrologically, hi, Brittany, when you're given the opportunity to use an energy consciously, like we are now with Mars and Aquarius, what can we do with it? And if you're just joining us, I'll just cover the definitions again. Mars represents, doesn't make it do it for you. That wasn't a real sentence. It doesn't do it to you. Mars represents your action. It's how you act in life. And Mars also is about sex, sexuality, sensuality. It's also machinery, weaponry, and tools. And Mars is anger, but also assertiveness and taking action in places where you might not normally. And then Aquarius represents it's an air sign and represents innovation, music, astrology, the heavens, and dealing with science or astronomy as well, and anarchy, electricity, wind, water, and the currents of change. And, sometimes Aquarius can be the anarchist, or it can be the very erudite, thoughtful Vulcan who proposes a potential solution to people who would rather be emotional. So we have to look at that, stepping back from the melodrama in life and looking at, well, what is the potential now? What can I use this energy for? So Mars and Aquarius for Aquarians and Aquarius rising. Remember, you are burning the candle. You have the impetus to jump, to move, to go. Watch out, because remember, we're talking about eruptions, fire. That means inflammation, fevers as well. Or it can mean you get angry before you even think about how you really feel. You just have a reaction instead of a response. Remember, the difference is discerning that what is your contribution in this world? If you have known angry people, or and I mean people who are rageaholics, or people who don't deal with their emotions or go through highs and lows, then you want to find the middle ground and be thoughtful, compassionate, act on things that you believe in. Absolutely. Take up the charge politically and fight for what you believe is true, but in a compassionate, healthy way, not just hurling crap at people, because we have enough of that in this world. And we need to start using our minds more to find solutions. And so Mars and Aquarius on the high end, on the low end, it's explosions, it's terrorism, it's people stealing your currency online, but the high end is finding innovative, eclectic solutions to health, to healing, to political situations, to the larger issues of the world. So let's look at doing that. Let's really be part of that. Hi, Susan. Or is it Suzanne? I'm not certain. Okay. So Audra says, doesn't it affect the energies around you and things? Everything is affecting everything. I have a thought, it ripples out into the universe, and you feel that thought. You may not be aware of it in this moment, saying, oh, Elaine just had a thought about throwing something out that made her angry. You may not know that, but everything affects everything. We are sentient beings. We are energetic at our core. We are pure conscious love. That's what we are. We are not separate from one another. We are not separate from the things on this earth, the energies that we've created, and the plants, the animals, the structures, the concrete buildings. We infuse these things with energy. When I first met my husband, Dean, he was a stand-up comic, and he did a reading with me, and at the time I was doing trance channeling, but now I just have developed a way to just bring it in without me having to go into a trance. And so when I first met him, he ran into another room and he came out. I was in his living room and he goes, "Here, hold this." And I didn't know what it was. And I closed my eyes and I was doing what's called psychometry. And that is reading objects or the energy. So I could pick up a crystal or a pen that only you have used for, 3 months or whatever. And so I held this object and I just started laughing. I felt so light and so happy. And I looked at it and it was a watch. And I said, "What?" All I hear is laughter and I'm just happy. So tell me about this watch. And he said, "That's the watch I used to wear on stage when I performed." And I said, "Oh, so that's just the accumulation of the energy of everybody in the club laughing." That's what it was. So we feel energy. We feel energy all the time. Brittany says, "Yes, agreed." Absolutely. Out of the box is also Aquarius and unconventional. But for each of the signs, it's going to mean something different. So I want to show you this. If you've not been coming to my Facebook Lives, please do. I will be back on Wednesday. I just want to double check that with my calendar. We just got back from being out of town. We were at Universal City because I love to play, and so does my husband. And so we spent 4 hours doing the Minions ride and Transformers and Harry Potter, and it was a blast. So now I'm looking at my calendar for the week of the 17th, and I will, let's see. Okay, I will be back Monday, September 17th at 10 a.m., and I will be talking more about the planets and what they're doing. So make sure to tune in Monday, September 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so if you haven't been listening, I want to show you something I did last time. Right now, in the heavens, we are having what's called a grand trine. And a grand trine is when 3 planets meet in a triangular fashion in aspect by degree. And through September 19th or so, we're still in this grand trine, and you can activate something wonderful. You can create beauty. You can find a resolution. You can find a solution. You can make whatever you want and have it be something of value to you and others. And so this is what a grand trine looks like. It's in 3 earth signs right now, and that is Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, and Saturn in Capricorn, and as well the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. So this energy, this grand trine energy now is going to be boosted by Mars in Aquarius. Okay, so Mars in Aquarius on top of this grand trine, what do you want to accomplish? It could be anything. You want to start a new health plan. You want to, and I don't mean go on a diet. I'm talking about nutritionally, a health plan. You want to start exercising, working out more, eating better. Perhaps you want to have better, and remember this is an earth sign, so it's about concrete stability. It's about loyalty. It's about really finding security in the actions that you take. So let's say you, and it doesn't matter what sign you are, maybe you would like to create a financial plan for the future. And you say, all right, I'm going to start a budget. Mars can help activate this depending on your rising sign and where Mars shows up in your chart. So if you know your rising sign, great. If you don't, you can easily discover your rising sign by getting a complimentary free chart on my website. My husband will post the link to where you can get that. And the sun sign represents your theme in life, your basic theme. The rising sign is what everybody wants to know about in astrology. It's wealth, health, passion, and purpose. So the rising sign pretty much dictates the entire natal chart. Your moon sign is about flow. It's about feelings, empathy, and it's also about finances. So if you know your rising sign, then this information can be even more impactful because I'm going to go through what Mars in Aquarius is going to have to do with each of the signs and the rising signs. So we covered Mars in Aquarius already. Now, Mars in Aquarius for Aquarius is what we covered. Mars in Aquarius for Pisces, this is going to land in your 12th house. Now, let me show you by description the house descriptions. And the 12th house, whoopsie, I have to move this up. The 12th house deals with your, and I'm going to have to reduce this and you'll lose my face for a minute, but I'm here. But if you see the 12th house, it deals with your intuition more. It deals with your psychology and your emotional well-being. But also it's about the burdens in life. It's about where you feel overwhelmed. So I'm just going to reduce this a bit so we can manage this a little better. Okay. So 12th house, and I'll beep, beep, make it bigger. Okay. So the 12th house is more about your psyche and your awareness. So Pisces rising especially. Remember, the rising sign is going to dictate the whole chart and these readings. And in any general astrology chart or blurb you might find in a magazine or online, if you went to sedonamonthly.com, if you went to astrologymojo.com, you would see my forecasts for the month. And it's the rising sign that's going to be more accurate than your sun sign, unless your sun and your rising sign are the same. So the Mars in Aquarius for Pisces, you need to somehow focus on what's happening with you energetically. Are you wiped out? Are you exhausted? Are you having difficulty? Are you fighting something? You know, mental prisons as well as physical prisons is what the 12th house represents. Now, Mars in Aquarius for Aries is all about the 11th house. Okay. So the 11th house is the elders in life, the mentors, the groups, the associations. Now you have to be careful of not being a bully to your friends or to the group that you're in. You know, you don't always have to carry the clipboard and be the leader, Aries rising sign, but that's going to be the tendency. So you have to watch both energies of the Mars in Aquarius vibe, which is innovation and solutions or dictatorship and weaponry and arguments and, you know, having to win competition. So, you know, let's just tone that part down. Okay. And, I'll get to you, Sasha, as well in a second. So, we just did actually, because you're a Pisces, but we don't know your rising sign. Go on and get your free astrological birth chart, and to find out your rising sign, and this information will be even more accurate for you, even though it's general astrology. All right, so Aries, Mars, and Aquarius for groups, and this information lasts from September 11th through November 15th, when Mars will be in the sign of Aquarius until it moves into the sign of Pisces. So, and then I'll come back and talk about that. But right now, Mars in Aquarius for Taurus, that's 10th house. That is the career push. That is your life direction. What do you want to focus on right now? Whether you work or not in the business world, it's about your life direction. What matters to you? What would you like to incorporate? And so now this is all about taking action, people, no matter what your sun or rising sign is. It's about taking action in a very healthy way. And so Taurus and the 10th house, the career push could deal with astrology. Now, I'm a Taurus. My husband's a Taurus rising. He's helping to manage my business. So we're working on a class, the Astrology Masterclass, when I'm almost done recording it, and to help people understand their own charts and give themselves and their friends readings. Okay, so for Gemini rising sign, it's the 9th house that Mars is entering, and it deals all with your philosophy in life, really, or higher education. You may be going back to school, or it could deal with contracts in life, or maybe you're publishing something. Maybe you're making a deal about teaching something. So it could also mean travel and long distance or foreign affairs. You might want to take a different language, or use that language to advance yourself in business. Now, for Cancer rising sign, Mars in Aquarius moves into the 8th house, and this is a very active time for your money and your money with others. So this can be about estate planning or insurance matters, or helping yourself and your family to get on top of things with insurance or bonuses or the best tax benefits that you can have. And also, Cancer rising, you know, this is a good time for you to amp up your sex life and to have more fun. So think about that as well. Now, Leo rising with Mars in Aquarius in the partnership house, you need to bite your tongue on occasion because your partner may be undergoing something that may want to cause an argument or several arguments or heated discussions about the future. So whether it's with your significant other, and if you don't have one, it could be about high-end clients that you have or a business partner that you have, significant partnerships starting with marriage. And, once you get to that place of, I know what I like and I know what I'm doing, then it's about cooperation, Leo rising. And it may not always be about you. Okay, so now Virgo rising, this is all about your health and work and service to the world. It can be about police action. It can be with Mars there, you must be careful of, first of all, your health, overdoing it. But second of all, speeding. Watch out for tickets and the law because they're going to catch you. And it's going to be one of those electronic ones where you're speeding and, they take a picture of you and, there you go, proof. So you got to be careful of that, Virgo, but also deal with what kind of technology can you incorporate into your arena right now, in your business arena. Maybe if you're in the health industry, you can use biofeedback, electronic stuff. Maybe you can use laser treatments, or if you need to get health treatments done, maybe there's something more advanced. Remember, Mars is action. Aquarius is very futuristic and it's very advanced. The currencies, water, wind, electricity. So let's look at how we could advance you. And maybe if you are a Virgo rising and you are actually working for the city planner, maybe it's about the pipes. Maybe it's about street corners and lights, or it could be about you helping to lobby for a different type of infrastructure that would help the city or the community better. But overall, really take care of your health, Virgo rising, because you could be overcome with fevers or infections or inflammation if you work too hard or if you're not taking care of your health. Okay, now for Libra or Libra rising sign, this is it's going to be more about now. Oh, I just want to show you this chart. Okay. If you're a Capricorn rising, Mars is not in your 10th house. This is a basic astrology chart, but the house definitions are what we're looking at. Okay. The house definitions are what we're looking at. So for Libra rising, it's all about the 5th house. Okay. So let's look at the definition of the 5th house: romance, creativity, children, and it may be that your kids need you. If you don't have kids, you might be a teacher, or maybe you have nieces or nephews and they need you right now. Or maybe it's about you rediscovering your inner creativity, your childlike self that just wants to have fun. And, or Libra rising, if you're having a really great time with your lover and you don't want to make a baby, buckle up because this is a very active time for you and a very creative time. Now, how do women create? In just as many ways as men do, but also with the added bonus of being able to conceive a child. So Libra rising, if you don't want to have a baby, just be aware of that. But spend more time utilizing music as a way and means to heal or to find inspiration in life right now. Okay. So let me see. Libra, what's next? Scorpio, 4th house. Okay. With Mars in the 4th house, when Mars is in an angular house, which means the first, the 4th, the 7th, or the 10th, that's a very intense place. And it can mean a lot of disruption. So that would be Taurus. This go around with Mars and Aquarius, that would be Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo. Those 4 signs or rising signs are going to feel Mars and Aquarius the most in maybe not always a happy, positive way. Maybe it feels like, oh, I have more to do, or oh, they're getting on my nerves, or oh my gosh, I can't stand these people, or what's going on in the world, So you just have to temper it, okay? So if you're a Aquarius rising, Leo rising, Taurus rising, or Scorpio rising, you're going to feel this a little bit more than most people. So Scorpio, with Mars and Aquarius in the 4th house, number one, if you are at odds with a partner, a family member, now is when it can erupt. Now is when it can become annoyance to the degree of arguments. Now, arguments are two separate opinions. They're opposing opinions. Arguments aren't necessarily fights. All right, so let's be clear about that. If you have an argument with a partner in your home, with a significant other, or with a family member, a child, or a parent, you might need to persuade them to think differently. But fighting or competing to win is not the solution. All right, so think about that, Scorpio rising. Maybe it's about coming up with a communal solution with a vote, with the family. Well, who here feels blah, blah? And then here, you need to listen as well as communicate what's going on. Scorpio doesn't always communicate what's happening, but activity just on your own in the home means your identity is changing and you're feeling a little disrupted. And it can mean that you want to place blame on people. Oh, those people at work, they're annoying me. I just need to go home and have a glass of wine. Okay. But if you meditate more or you use music or chanting, remember these are vibrational energies that you can use right now. Mars and Aquarius. Chanting, Deva Premal, put on some beautiful music, play an instrument, listen to something, dance in your living room, move the energy so that it doesn't get stuck in a place of I need to win, because that's not what Mars and Aquarius is best at. It's best at fighting on the low end, or on the high end, it's best at innovative solutions. All right. So Scorpio, just think about that. Oh, also Scorpio, because this happens in your 4th house of home, it can deal with neighbors suddenly deciding to remodel at midnight or hammer things on the wall of your apartment at 10 p.m. when you're ready to go to bed. So it can be annoyances from the close neighbors. It can also be annoyances in the home, but also it can be renovation. Maybe you need to redo something. Something didn't work the first time, you have to repair it. Okay, Sagittarius, Sag rising. Mars and Aquarius for you is in the 3rd house, and I need to take a drink because I haven't put a period on this sentence. Okay. Mars and Aquarius, Sagittarius. It's all about your communication. You have new ideas. You have brilliant ideas. You really want to be able to convince others that your way is right. All right. We need to take right and wrong out of the equation because there's enough of this going on in the world, especially in the US and politics right now, or what people feel they didn't get or should be getting. We need to end the aggression. End the aggression. Put love into the world. Put love into the world. All right. So Sag rising. How can you put love into the world in a class setting or in a group setting, a communication setting when, look at the 3rd house here, deals with siblings as well. So perhaps it's time to have that heart-to-heart that may not feel comfortable. Or perhaps it's time to take a day or two and take a break from the world. Shut off the phone, get away, take a little vacation if you can. And if you can't, then you need to hang out a shingle that says, serious conversations only that deal with solutions. Because if a brother or sister or someone who is very close to you, like a brother or sister, comes to you and says, I didn't like what you said to me the other day, or I don't think this is going to work. You presented this at the group meeting and yeah, I have a problem with this. Okay. So people might not know how to express anger. Most people don't. So what they do is they come at people sideways. So you don't want to go sideways. There's no passive aggressiveness necessary. And you don't want to go sideways. You don't want people coming at you sideways either. So if you're feeling something angsty about someone, I want you to write about it, because this is in the house of communication. Before you blurt it out, before you blurt it out to anyone, write it all down. and they said this, and I hate them, and the blah, blah, blah. And so just get the initial stuff out of your body. And then meditate. Use music, remember. Use vibrational healing. That can be massage. That can be chimes. That can be chanting. Find a way to mitigate your aggression or your anger, right? And then have a very articulate conversation with someone and set it up. Be appropriate. Say, I'd like to schedule something. I'll give you my Calendly link online because we're in Aquarius and everything's about electronics now or higher technology. I'd like to talk to you about something, all right? But also, if you're a writer, if you are an editor, if you deal with a classroom, Sag rising, we're talking about right now, anything in the third house that deals with communication. And it can be, if you are a speech therapist, you might find vibrational healing methods that will help your students or your patients or your clients. So, or in writing, you may be thinking, oh, I've been stuck. I'm trying to create a character. I can't get through. Do a few deep breath meditations, take a walk, move your energy. That's what Mars in Aquarius is asking you to do. Everyone, move your energy. Because when you move your energy, you are given an ability to see from a different perspective. All right. So Sag rising, go for it. Now, Capricorn rising, Mars in Aquarius is winding up in your second house. I'm going to move this over here so you can see the second house deals with self-worth, finances, and your resources as well, and your income. So Cap rising, if you are looking at moving your energy toward more income, then now is the time to innovate. Now is the time to think about, what else can I do in my business that can help me make more money? Or what else can I do with my money to help me make more money? And that can mean investing in something, even though that's an 8th house issue. We are looking at this grand trine as well. So remember, through the 19th, boost this energy. What do you want to accomplish? Capricorn rising. And you can use astrology to help you find solutions, because Aquarius does rule space and technology. So what kind of technology can you use, Capricorn, to help yourself heal better or quicker or faster? Or maybe it's about finding what you need to do to help you feel like this is worth it to me. And you have to sort through everything on your desk. And I'm just going to collapse this right now. And you have to sort through everything on your desk, Capricorn or Capricorn rising. And I'm a Capricorn rising. So I'm sorting through things on my desk right now. It's like a pile of receipts. I have to get through insurance papers. And some of them deal with mother and money and looking at, well, what's the best way to do this? So I'm going to have to organize it just like you, Capricorn rising. I'm going to organize these things so that it feels like this is the best use of my time. Now, with Mars in the second house, Capricorn rising, you might have the urge to spend a little bit more money on a program or an app for your phone or something in your computer that can help you organize something. Or you may not have to spend money. Maybe it's time learning how to use an electronic piece of equipment or an application on your computer that helps you to understand, maybe it's QuickBooks, help you understand finances better, or to help you understand your business better. Now, for me, as a Capricorn rising, I am going to be recording this astrology masterclass, which is so thorough and so complete that you could literally train to become an astrologer. And this program is going to take a learning curve for me, because even though I know astrology, I could recite it in my sleep, the application itself that I need to record in, I'll be scratching my head. Little refresher course. So, okay, we covered all the signs, and now I'm going to take a sip. I'm so glad everybody's here. Yay. 3 kids, and they definitely need me. I'll have more fun with kids. Frequency music is big with me now. Great. So there it is. That's what it's all about. Stephanie said good morning. Hi, good morning, Stephanie. And we're talking about Mars in the sign of Aquarius. And remember, if you don't know your rising sign, go through the thread My husband posted an Astrology Mojo. You can get your free birth chart. Just fill in all the fields, because if you don't, you won't get it. And you fill in all the fields, and then it will immediately generate a chart for you, and you can see what your rising sign is. Now, if you're not familiar with astrological signs, I'm going to show you this sign planet so you can see what your rising sign is. Now, Aries is guided by Mars, Taurus is guided by Venus, and Gemini by Mercury. Cancer by the moon, not a planet, but a sphere, celestial sphere, and Leo by the sun, not a planet, but a celestial sphere, and Virgo also by Mercury. But because Gemini is an air sign and Virgo is an earth sign, the mercurial energy works a little bit differently. For Virgo, it's more about details, and for Gemini, it's more about the thought process. Libra is guided by Venus, just like Taurus, but again, two different elements. So Taurus is an earth sign and Libra is an air sign. And so they work differently. They both have the same objective about truth and justice for all, but it's more about food and finances and feeling comfortable for Taurus. For Libra, it's about justice. It's about order. It's about neatness. It's about discipline. So it's a little bit different energy. Scorpio is guided by Pluto. And I'm going to sidetrack for just a moment. Oh, no, wait, let me just finish this and then I'll come back to Pluto. But Scorpio guided by Pluto, Sagittarius is guided by Jupiter, Capricorn by Saturn, Aquarius by the planet Uranus. That is correct pronunciation. Uranus, the planet, dealing with the space, technology, eclectic and outrageous information, and freedom. Pisces is guided by Neptune. Now I'm going to come back to Pluto. For years I've been saying, oh, thanks a lot, scientists, for downgrading Pluto to a dwarf star from a planet. I still feel that it is in our solar system, and it takes several criteria for something to be deemed a planet, and that criteria was created in the 1800s, and it's outdated. So now the scientists are now having conjecture and talking about Pluto and reestablishing it as a planet. Yay! Yay, Pluto. All right, so go get your rising sign at astrologymojo.com, and you can understand better. There's Mars. And you can understand better where Mars is in your chart, Mars in Aquarius, and how the whole picture is working together with the grand trine this week and through next week, and what it can mean for you. Okay, so Stephanie says, what if you don't know what time you were born? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you can write to the Bureau of Vital Statistics in the city that you were born and ask them to send you a copy of your birth chart with the time. You must specify the time. Now, it may cost anywhere from $5 to $50 to do that. So that's one way. Remember, go to the Bureau of Vital Statistics in your town. If you were born in a hospital, they will have a record of your birth time, but you must ask for the birth time. Now, if you were born at home, or if you were born or in a different situation where someone says, I don't know what time you're born, but the sun was rising and, the snow was falling, so you have to narrow it down to 2 hours, then you can estimate. The more accurate you are with your birth time, the more accurate someone like me, a reader, can intuit, because the birth time gives you your sole purpose in life. And the birth time also designates where the planets are in your houses, in your natal chart. Now, the third way of finding out about your birth time is what's called a rectification chart, which literally costs as much as a chart, because it's very time consuming, can take 3 to 6 hours to calculate. And then that would be going backwards in time by discerning what major events occurred in your life: adoptions, births, deaths, fires, moving, tragedies, travel, wonderful, winning the lottery. So by calculating those points and then moving backwards, we can narrow that down within a 2-hour period to a 1-hour period to your rising sign. So that's how you can discover your rising sign through your birth time if you don't actually have that. Okay, yeah, they don't always put the birth time on the copies at the hospital, so that's why you must specify. And if, let's see, if you're out of the United States, I do know that it costs minimum $50 to get your birth time from the U.S. version of the Canadian version in Canada for the birth time at the Bureau of Vital Stats. So that's one thing you can do. Yes, Virgo is an earth sign. And let's see, I'm just going to take another sip. Just let me know in the comment section if this information is helping you, if it's important to you, and if there is another topic you would like me to discuss in future live events. Let me know. I will be back on Monday, September 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern to talk more about astrology. You know, we're coming up on a Venus retrograde, folks, in October. So that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. It's very important to understand what a Venus retrograde is all about. So if you've got any comments regarding what you'd like me to talk about in future live events, let me know in the comment section below. Now, if you're listening to this during a replay, I won't get that note and I won't get your comments. But if you comment during the live, now we are live now. It is almost 11 o'clock Pacific time. Hang on, I'm going to take a sip. On Friday, September 14th, we are live now. We started at 10 a.m. Pacific, and we're going to go just for another minute or two. And let's see, Stephanie says, thank you. I was born 5/13/72 in the early evening. Oh, you're so welcome for the info. So the early evening can be anywhere from 4:30 p.m. to 6:37 p.m. And the rising sign changes every 2 hours. So within that 2-hour time frame, you could be one of two different rising signs. So that's why it's important to know and understand your birth time. Okay, Sasha says, I would love parenting tips for the signs. You got it. I'm going to write that down. Parenting tips. Now, are you talking about parenting tips for the signs of your children or for the signs of the parents? Because each parent and each sign parents differently. Now, if you've got, water sign children, that's one thing. If they're boys, if they're more masculine, if they're more feminine, even if they're girls, I'm going to put in the whole mix. So parenting tips for the signs. Okay. I'll talk about what the kids are, the signs of the kids. And that'll make it easier. Yes. You're in love with my wisdom? Oh, no cry. Thank you. You're so sweet. Well, I'm in love with yours because you're just as wise, right? Aren't you? Everybody knows something. Everybody knows something that they know is helpful and beneficial without the need to be right or the need to compete. You all know something. So put that into the world. Remember this grand trine that we're having right now in the sign of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo is there to help you design something very secure, something very valuable that has meaning. And with this push of Mars in Aquarius, it's going to help you even more get that thing done. Also listening to each of the signs that we've just talked about. And if you've just tuned in, go back when this is a replay and you can listen to where Mars in Aquarius is for your rising sign and your sun sign. But the rising sign is what's going to take the most impact. Now, if you want to book a session, you can go right to on my Facebook page. You see the Book Now button, the blue Book Now button, and you'll get a huge reading. It's an hour reading, and it's 53% off of my typical session, the breakthrough session, and we can go deep and go wide. I'm going to pull a card for everyone right now with these fractal universal cards that I have. Oh, I see that there's some comments here. Okay. What the future holds. Okay, Suzanne would like to know what the future holds. Future for the signs regarding jobs. Okay. And then, and I'm just going to address that right now a little bit, Suzanne, or is it Suzanne? Yes. A job is what you do to make money. A profession is what your soul and spirit have come here to accomplish. So jobs are for the taking. You could find a job anywhere out there. It doesn't mean you're going to like it. It doesn't mean it's going to suit you. It may pay the bills for a little bit if that's what you need. And so think about that. So when you focus on a job, don't just focus on, I got to go get a job and make the bills. Okay, great. That's okay. I understand that. I used to live in a trailer without heat on a borrowed mattress. Boy, do I understand that. And but for some people, it's more about the profession and what they really want to do and their soul's purpose. And it doesn't mean it's just one thing either. So go ahead and focus on a job, but the bigger picture is focusing on what can I manifest and bring to me, create this bridge to me to help me become more powerful with my talents. And take it out of your head. I don't have a degree. I'm not enough. They won't hire me. I'm stupid. All the things that bring you down, all the not enoughs are going to stop you from bringing to you your ideal purpose and the people who can help to give you a leg up, right? So Audra, I want to do stuff like this. Okay. Let's do. When my husband and I are ready to watch something at night after the day is done, Dean will say, oh, you want to watch an episode of Glow? And I'll go, let's do. Let's do. All right. Here's the card I picked. I picked for everyone right now. This card, you're going to laugh because even though, make it straight. Even though it says perfection, right? The definition of perfection is varied depending on the person. And let me tell you that the old definition, where you have to strive and work and work and work, practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't. No, practice does not make perfect. No. Keith Cunningham, a business advisor, says practice makes experience. And that's true. If you take spaghetti and you teach your child how to make pasta, you take spaghetti and you heat up the pot and you break the spaghetti and you put it into a pot with no water, you could practice that all you want. You're never going to make the best bowl of pasta ever, right? So think about this. Perfection for everyone is being who you truly are in the moment. Be as much of you in this moment with compassion, without the need or the urge, because that's the needs and the urges are more about self-gratification or ego recognition, which it's not a negative, but let's just move that aside and put that aside just for a second. A state of perfection is when you are feeling whole, healthy, and in a state of pure conscious love. And then you put that into the next moment, and then the next moment. And then when you have that alignment, here, let me back it up. When you have that alignment and you put that into the world, and people feel it, the plants feel it, the trees feel it, your neighbors feel it, the people at work feel it, your family feels it. That is the state of perfection. You can always grow and change, and you always will. Although I know some people who have congealed into their final selves and they won't change right now. But when they leave, it doesn't end. You keep growing and you keep changing, you keep expanding. So think about what you would like to do right now for today and for the next 2 days. How would you like to be your best, most present, authentic self? Think about that. Clairvoyance, yes. Well, You know what? I'll come back next week with a link to and talk about my Bodhi Brainstorm. It's a training program to teach you how to be more clairvoyant and to find your true inner GPS, your given psychic sense, and to fine tune there are 3 types, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and some people have all 3. And so I could talk about the Bodhi Brainstorm next week when I come back. And practice makes permanent, my husband says. Practice makes permanent. It doesn't mean it's perfection. Now, you are not at fault. Yeah, if you do something wrong and you step on somebody's toes, you say, yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. But you, just being born as you, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's no fault involved. So, but we come here already thinking that we are separate, that there's not enough of us, that we are missing something, we are not whole, we need a guy, we need a girl, we need a job, we need a thing, we need Prada shoes. It's like we need something to make us be better. Well, focusing on your responses instead of reactions with Mars in Aquarius, that's a great place to start. Let's go there. Have a beautiful weekend, everyone. I'll be back here on Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be talking more about the planets and how you can use that energy to be the best you possible. Be sparkly, be you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on Monday.